What is good? What is good? We are rolling on this channel. We are straight rolling here. Rolling pretty good. I get into controversial topics on this channel, and the last, week or so of videos, I've gotten into some controversial topics. Maybe not controversial for some of you guys already watching this type of content, but just in terms of whatever you want to call general society, if there is a general society, as we've gone over in previous videos. This is relatively controversial content, but I don't shy away from that stuff, so here we are with another controversial topic today. So I'm gonna reach into my previous experience here to talk about the topic today. So as you guys know, I've said this a bunch of times at this point on this channel, that I was in professional school, pharmacy school. That's what they call it, professional school. I mean, I could give a damn less about that name now these days, but yeah, professional school. Healthcare profession, pharmacy school. And let's just say that these are your professionals, right? I live in California, so I don't know how it is in other places, but these are your professionals, about at least healthcare professionals. It was the class was like 60, a little bit over 60% women. I think it was 61 or 62 or something like that. And then 30, so like high 30s% men. And I'll just say, by 22, I mean, you guys already know my perspective. She has to be at least 16. But I'm just gonna tell you, professional, because okay, there are some young people that watch this channel and then some older people. So like for the young people, I mean for basically everybody, I'm just gonna tell you, like, the older guys, you probably already know this because you've had more experience on this planet and in this country and in this society, gynocentric society, whatever you want to call it. So you probably already have some of this knowledge, but like you younger guys who aren't even in college yet, if that's you, or if you're like in the midst of college right now, just understand that if you want to get married, right, a lot of people just don't these days, especially the Gen Zers, like the younger people. A lot of them just kind of completely gave up on the concept. Granted, you're young though, so I'm pretty sure when people are young, they don't think about this, but like, that's also a detriment, because if you're not thinking this way and you end up thinking that way later, you're gonna like have a lot of unlearning to do, or maybe not, depending on how the future goes for you guys. But I'm just gonna say, like, from my experience, like, you're talking about by age 22, 23, on average, like, some of these professional women have body counts of over 20. So we're talking 20 plus in the 20s. And then and to be 100% honest, like, that's average. You got people that have 0. You got people that have like 3. You got people that literally have 40, 50, 60. I went to a private school. So you have to understand, I went to a school where there were less than 3,000 people walking around on campus day to day. A lot of people were commuters. So a lot of them lived in the city, the local city, and they commuted to school. There were maybe around 2,000 to 3,000 that lived on campus. And we're still talking about body counts average of, like, this is probably average, we're talking about in the 20s on average. like for the average woman. So to be 100% honest, I have no clue what's going on in some of these state schools where you have like 10,000 plus people living on campus or possibly more. I have no clue what goes on there. And don't even ask me because, like, to be 100% honest, I don't even like want to know because most colleges, at least I'm here in California, but I understand this is nationwide. Most colleges are majority women, and most colleges are bigger than the one that I went to. So it is what it is. But professionals, you have to understand a lot of professionals are in school for almost a decade, if not more than a decade. So after high school, 4 year the thing is I went to a program too that shortened my undergrad. So I had 3 years of undergrad and I still saw a lot of this stuff. And then 3 years of professional school, but I actually left like two and a half I left like 2 years in. So a normal pathway would be 4 years of undergraduate after high school, another 4 years of professional school, and then possibly 1 to 2 to 3 to even 4 years of residency, depending on what you're doing and if you're trying to specialize. So you're talking like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years of schooling. Yeah, so I mean, if you're trying to date, just understand what you're dealing with there. And I'm talking about early, so they quote unquote settle down later. You've heard that term a lot by now, probably if you're watching this type of content. But this is early, so by 22, a lot of, I don't want to say damage is done because everyone makes their decisions, and see, that's the thing. Everybody makes their decisions, so if you don't want to deal with this kind of thing, you can make your own decisions too. Just because, like, this is how it is. I don't know what because remember that I live in California, so wherever you are, like, California is the worst in a lot of respects in terms of these type of things, but I do understand that it's like kind of nationwide and even like worldwide in a sense. So, but I don't want to speak on things I don't necessarily know. I'm just speaking on like my own position, like where I am, where I find myself, and you guys can like do what you want with that information. Like, take some of it out if it doesn't apply to you, add some that applies to you more, etc. But so just in my experience, like, if you don't want that, you have to get yourself out of that situation and look toward other situations that will suit you better in terms of like what you're looking for. Because a lot of these girls, like, they're trying to get married at some point now, right? So I was kind of one of among the younger in my class because I was in that accelerated program thing. So a lot of these people were like 2 years older than me, 3 years older than me, sometimes even more, like, because they did the full undergrad. And I'm like also young in terms of like, I even got into college because I started undergrad at 17, so I'm like young in that sense. And then also, I was pretty young going into grad school or professional school, whatever you want to call it. So some of these people were older than me, so like right after, like within 1 to 2, like basically a year, because I've only been out like a year now, to be honest. So like maybe we could call like a year and a half. So a lot of these people look to get married shortly after grad school, which makes sense, right? You're done with school. So is that going to be you, right? So there's a lot of options out there, but just understand what you're working with. So if you also boast body counts, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, like whatever it is, like there's a lot of, like if you have that kind of leeway, there's a lot of like options you got there, like at least from what I know. The people, the cohort I graduated with. But if you don't want a woman boasting those body counts, and if you don't boast those yourself, like whatever you fall into, there's also a lot of options, but realize that those options you're gonna have to like look a little bit for it, because on average it's gonna be difficult, like depending on what stage of your life that you're in. Like it's gonna be like you can't just kind of pick up the average like professional woman. Like if you want a woman that's making good money, let's say you're making good money, you can't necessarily just pick up the average like woman on that. At least not these days. I don't know how it used to be. But yeah, okay, like to be 100% honest, I don't really want to like go in like in terms of like, because everyone makes their own decisions, right? So everyone makes, like, so you can't, like, in my view, I wouldn't even get mad at it, because I see a lot of people online getting mad at like how things are or whatever. But to be 100% honest, like it might even be worse for women, to be honest. Like one most affected, because like we all got the same like cultural indoctrination. Some people got out of it early, depending, like maybe their family had traditional values. Maybe some people just learned that shit quick. After like, I don't know, like some life experience. So it just some people just learn it super late. And like just the fact that like women, they're on like a biological time clock, if you will, more so than men are. Like that's kind of why they have it worse, to be honest. And also, women don't mind a dude with the high body count, but in terms of marriage, but guys definitely kind of do on average. Some guys don't, like maybe if they also have body counts in the triple digits or something, who knows? But like a lot of dudes kind of do. So like you already know my perspective on it. Just be at least 16, like that's all. At least 16, and like then we can work from there. But like in my opinion, like 22, 23, like once you get to that, like people like Rollo Tomasi say that's like peak whatever attractiveness for the woman. But like she has a body count of 20 to 30. Like I mean, for me, is it peak attractiveness? I'm not quite sure, but it's all to you guys. Like I'm just saying, I just have this channel discussing what I kind of like my experiences and what I think. Like I say, you guys take what you think. Like so, don't listen. Like you can listen to my opinions just as opinions. Like and then make your own decisions on that. Like I'm just telling you the landscape from my perspective, and I went to a lot of schools, so like understand these women are making good money, and they're professionals. Like, and you probably, like the thing is, most I wouldn't even be surprised, because you have to realize the people who hold the most purchasing power in terms of a group, not like we're not talking about the top 1% and all that shit. Like we're just talking about as a group in terms of this nation of the United States. Women hold more purchasing power than men on average. What else? Women vote more than men on average. Like more women are probably, I don't know the exact stats on this, but like at least in the healthcare professions, there's more women professionals than men are. Doctors, I think there's still slightly more men. It might be 55 to 45, but that has been changing quickly. So doctors, pharmacists, there's already more women. Like, it's like 60-40. Nurses, there's been way more women. That's like more traditionally like a woman's thing. Even though there are, like, I do know some male nurses making good money, right? So it's definitely, it is what it is on that. Dietitians, there's like, I mean, I'm actually probably going to take another dietetics class. I took one in community college, like, a couple years, like in 2019, in like fall 2019 semester. I took a dietetics class, mostly women. Shoot, like, you just name a healthcare profession, is probably mostly women, to be honest. Like, more women are going to college, pursuing these degrees and finishing these degrees than men are right now. So just understand that's what you're working with. If that's what you want, go for it, because there's a lot of them now. But just understand the landscape on that. And shoot, that's all I'm gonna say. Like, oh, hey man, like, I could have said more personal experience. I've talked to so many of these chicks, man, and like, they're still on my Facebook feed. Like, I could, I mean, I've talked to so many. The thing is, they won't tell you too. Like, they won't tell you. They like lie about certain things, like in terms of their body count, because the thing is, like, they know at this point, like, you have to understand, if a woman is like in those sort of professions, like, that takes intelligence, they've already researched a lot of the stuff that you guys are. And then women, they do this earlier because, like, the dating market to them kind of happens earlier than for men, in terms of like what the options they get. So if you're talking about dating market or anything like that, just understand, like, you're not, like, you're at a disadvantage if you're going for a girl that's like your same age or older. Like, like, just the information that, like, they have versus the information you have is not comparable. So they know, like, what to say, how to say it, like, and they know, depending on the response that you give, they know, like, your situation. So, like, that is just not the man's, like, this whole dating market thing is not the man's forte, like, for most guys. Like, unless, like, you're a dating coach or some shit, or you're just old enough to, like, know, okay, wait, this is what's going on because you learned it, like, through experience or through research. Like, this is not your forte. Like, usually guys are concerned with, okay, how am I gonna make money? Like, what even is money, right? Like, this just different, like, what is the landscape of, like, the planet in general? Like, how am I gonna stake my own claim to this thing? Like, so guys are concerned with just different shit, like how the world works and, like, how you're gonna get your place in it. Like, so this dating market stuff you usually get to later, like me, myself. Like, you usually get to this stuff later, so that's why I say, like, to be honest, I'd go for younger. But if whatever your thing is, just, like, try to understand the landscape, and just know that, like, you have, like, nothing on these chicks, especially if she's a professional woman outside of school, over like 22, 23, like 25 for, like, most, depending on 25, 26 if you're, like, on the traditional pathway in terms of being a professional. Like, you ain't got, like, shit on these chicks, man. Like, just because she's, like, 26, 25, 24 does not mean that, like, she has, like, a desirable body count or, like, whatever. So yeah, that's what I'll say for that. I might tell you some of the stories of, like, specific situations that I've been in later. Like, that's just a general overview. Like, Yeah, like there's red pilling for like people, like there's a red pill for a reason. I would suggest that you understand those concepts before you even like jump into like dating or whatever on that. Like you really need to understand what your options are, and don't like get shit on with bad options. Like work on whatever you need to work on, and then once you jump into this dating market shit, just understand like your true options here. Like just understand your true options is what I would say. Like understand these red pill concepts, understand this stuff, so like when you get some success you can just get what you just like go for what you want. Don't like don't try to be don't try to be amicable. Don't try to like be too forgiving out here, because like that's just not how that's not the move, man. Like you can't be too forgiving out here, especially if you've like done some work to make yourself like successful anyway. Like you just don't want to be really too forgiving. Like like if you're just just not really kind of like disillusioned with society, like not really trying to work like in terms of like work at all, maybe like not really much money or anything like that, then like the professional woman might be your best option basically. And like those are the type of guys that a lot of these women are looking for straight up. So if that's your situation, like you actually, to be honest, may have a field day just looking at the landscape. But like if you're like a person with like a man of means or whatever, like Coach Greg Adams says, if you're like a man of means and you want a family, you want at least a hope of a marriage or something, like you gotta understand your options. Like yeah, that 50-50 partnership where like both of y'all are making good money. Like if I were you, I would just make your own money and then like go for younger straight up. Like yeah, but okay. Yep, that's it for now. I will catch you guys later. Keep those numbers going up. June we had a great month, so better in some respects than the month of May, but less in some respects than the month of May. But like we're kind of moving upwards in the things that I'm like really trying to focus on moving upwards in. So like that's good. Like some of the things like subscribers is not quite as high as it was in May, but like I'm not really looking at that yet. Like I'm more looking at views, watch time, and impressions still, and those are kind of like still going pretty good. So even subs are going up. Like to at this point, subscribers is like icing on the cake right now. Later on I'll be like looking more at those numbers, but like right now that's kind of icing on the cake. We're at 65 now, and that's good shit. So like let's keep moving up, let's keep understanding things, understanding the landscape we have here, and like living pretty good, because I understand things are gonna be pretty good, I think, for like people of this kind of philosophy. And you may not see it now. I mean, to be honest, I kind of already see it. Like this is a kind of straight up freedom, kind of, to be honest here. Like I don't want to, like I still want to learn more before I say that, but like about like monetary system and all that shit. But like I do think there's some like good times to be had. So like keep your head up if your head's not up. And like just keep trying to build what you want to build, and like trust me, I think like things are going to be pretty good coming up. So peace out, have a good day, see y'all tomorrow, deuces, enjoy your time on YouTube today.